Welcome to Everyday Enlightenment. I'm your host, Patty Teal. My guest today hardly needs an introduction. Barbara Marx Hubbard is beloved by the whole world, I think, and definitely the Santa Barbara community. Barbara is an amazing communicator and visionary. She's an author, speaker, and co-founder and president of the Foundation for Conscious Evolution. Barbara believes that humanity is on the threshold of a quantum leap. If we're able to integrate newly emergent scientific, social, and spiritual capacities, we could transform ourselves to move beyond our current global crisis to a magnificent future. And I cannot wait to hear about it. I'm honored to have the chance to bring Barbara Marx Hubbard to us today. Welcome, Barbara.
Hello, hello.
So nice to meet you. I wish I could touch you, but this is just the next best thing.
Yeah.
So you've done so many things in your lifetime, and you've been such a visionary. I know just recently you were honored at the film festival in Sedona, called Illuminate Film Festival. And I know you have new things. So let's start with the new things, and then we can wind around to other things, because you mentioned, as we were talking just before the show, that you have a new initiative for the emerging species, and I definitely want to hear about that.
Well, I have been realizing for some time that we are at the next stage of human evolution. We're facing a breakdown that could destroy our life support system, but on the other hand, we're facing breakthroughs and innovations so huge that they can lead to a next stage of evolution. And if you want to give a name to this human species that's doing this, I call it Homo universalis. And Homo universalis would be the name of our species that includes our spiritual, social, scientific, and above all, high-tech capabilities. Because if you add artificial intelligence, nanotech, biotech, quantum computing, robotics, and all that to our spiritual and social evolution, you have a species with powers of our ancient gods. And most people who are in the spiritual movement don't relate to the people necessarily in the high-tech movement, and vice versa. But if you look at it, when you hold, I mean, I do this all the time. When I hold the cell phone in the palm of my hand, I'm holding the global brain.
Wow. Yeah.
It's true.
Yes.
In this little tiny thing is the Google search for anything, anywhere in the world, and everything going on all at once in my hand. So I take that personally.
Mm-hmm.
We happen to be holograms going with the speed of light on internet right now.
Yeah, that is amazing. I know in the years past, when I was a youngster, you know, I thought we'd be maybe already on the moon doing this, doing that, but I never dreamed this kind of connection that the tech world has brought us. I mean, it has really brought everybody together, hasn't it?
And together, but with huge new powers. We don't know, like in National Geographic, they're calling us Homo sapiens 2.0.
Oh.
By a man called Harari from Israel. He's speaking of the fact that by the year 2100, many people will have powers that we used to attribute to gods. We will be overcoming physical death as an animal human. We will be in a bliss state because we've learned to deal with our higher frequencies of our brain and our emotions. So most of us are going along as though we're dealing with problems and we might solve them. It's all more or less the same. But what I'm discovering is that there are new humans here. And the new humans are going to be a new awakening species, because these new humans are already psychologically and spiritually attuned to what's evolving inside themselves.
Wow.
They are already attuned to want to innovate and create. They're already attuned to being interested in cosmic evolution. So this new awakening species is holding the promise of humanity.
Well, that's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Bringing together through invitation a year-long event to gather and awaken the new species together. And I'm going to use my book, 52 Codes for Conscious Evolution, which came to me from a universal consciousness. And they actually, each code is designed to evolve you into a new species. And it's happening. And I'm working with a lot of people. And I said, well, why don't I just send out a big invitation and see if I can connect people worldwide?
Wow. So, gosh, I don't know what to ask you first. There's so many amazing things. Are most of these people in their 20s, younger? Are they older people that could have just downloaded some of this information? I'm ready for my download.
I'm older, and it took me a while to get here, but a lot of them are already much younger. Almost everything I'm saying is well known. It's not like this is an esoteric, the first discovery of quantum physics or something really hard. This is actually, we know the crisis, we know we're innovative, but even more, we know internally we want to create more, love more, be more. I would imagine you are one of them.
I hope so.
Why are you doing this program? Tell me your motivation.
Oh, gosh. Well, one of the main motivations is I love to talk to people like you. I kind of like to hear about the cutting edge, and so many people are coming up with these amazing healings, and they may come about it from a slightly different direction, but it's really the same basic thing, and I love to share it.
Well, that's what you're doing, you know, in your own way. Just what I'm saying needs to be done. We need to identify it, connect it, and share it.
Right.
And currently, however, you do not see any of this in the news.
No. Mm-mm.
The news reports on what is not working.
That's true.
If you had a nervous system and a body that only told you what didn't work and never gave you pleasure, joy, inspiration, you would be sick most of the time. So we have a kind of political sickness where everything is problem oriented and can't quite be solved, and we are dealing with separation all over the place. Whereas these new humans are everywhere creating. They're healing the environment, they're connecting each other, they're filled with actually the joy of doing all this. So that's the new species. That's the new species. Yeah. And the one, how old are you, my dear?
Oh gosh, I'm 60. So I'm not, oh yeah, I'm not a youngster.
I thought you were going to say 30.
Yeah, so no, I've been around a while. Can't quite believe it myself.
No, this is truly, truly amazing. Uh-huh. You see, you're already, well, you're not even young. I mean, I was thinking you're maybe 30.
No, I do work with a lot of youngsters and at the Sedona Maga Retreat Center where I work, and it's been delightful because even though they have a different kind of an energy, which is wonderful, some of them are so wise beyond what you would ever expect from someone who's 23, 27, or 30 years old. It's been amazing to get to know them.
So they are part of the uprising of the new species because they're all empowered with the global brain. They're all empowered with the internet. They're all empowered with increased intelligence. They're all empowered with things that can work robotics so that we don't have to be doing subhuman work. They have to become entrepreneurs. I mean, the whole system is being evolved at the level of people who say yes to their creative potential.
Right. So this has been such a lifetime passion of yours. It started when you were very young, didn't it?
Well, it did, but I think it started for me for real when the U.S. dropped the bombs on Japan, the atomic bomb, and I recognized that if we continued to use that power and self-centered consciousness, we could destroy our entire world. So my question was, what's the meaning of the new power that's good? And I found actually nobody knew. You know, nanotech, biotech, artificial intelligence, what is the meaning of all of that? That's good. So I decided to try to find out. And I think I found out it's creating a new humanity, a new species, a new era of evolution. That's what it's doing.
Mm-hmm. So this is a question I don't know if anyone can answer. I mean, do we have to learn things in such a rough manner? I mean, I know all the horrible things that happen are probably a catalyst for us changing, but can't it be a little easier? So that, and are there two different species happening now? Turn this phone. It seems as though some people are evolving so beautifully and so wonderfully, but then there's also kind of others that are they becoming a different species that are going another direction filled with.
Well, I think there could be a whole assortment.
Okay.
But the ones I'm talking about are basically motivated by love.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the phrase, my friend Mark Gaffney, the phrase is evolutionary love.
Yeah.
It's love, not only personal love, it's love that comes from the deeper process of creation that's internalized in you as you're yearning to create, to love, to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's what's happened to me at 87. I feel my cells are regenerating because, you know, they're sensitive to consciousness, epigenetics. So if your consciousness is that you have more creativity to do, every cell in your body gets that. So in terms of health and vigor and beauty and excitement and pleasure, you know, life evolution is actually motivated by pleasure. What feels really good to do. So it clearly feels really good to you to know people and to understand people. So you're pleasure oriented, not pain oriented.
Yes, and I try to even wake up in the morning. What would be fun to do today?
Yeah, and you're not doing this out of pain.
Yeah.
You know, even though the crisis may move you, your basic intuition is by attraction. So this is the new species is evolution by attraction.
Evolution by attraction. You are really good at coming up with new words and terms that you just hear them and you know exactly what they mean, but even though it's something that you've never ever heard before. I have another friend, his name is Don, in case he listens, in Santa Barbara, and he is in his 90s, and he is just full of vim and vinegar, and he writes every day. He writes this amazing poetry. He's just an amazing role model, and yet so many people kind of don't go that direction. Of course, who knows what health issues are going to bother somebody, but how can somebody age like you and Don?
You see, it has to do with motivation. If you don't have motivation, you can be very mentally ill by the time you're 30. I had people in my family who were very brilliant, but they didn't have a clear motivation and they died. They overdosed on drugs. They did all kinds of things. They were brilliant, highly educated. And Abraham Maslow said this to me once years ago. He said, the key factor is motivation. It's not intelligence, beauty, athletic ability. It's degree of motivation. So the people who are the new species are highly motivated to be creative, give their gift, to love, to express. So it's motivation probably is the key.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is it important to live for a power or cause greater than yourself, or does it really matter unless it's as long as it's something motivating you? What do you think about that?
I think it has to be of service.
Okay.
And this is from Abraham Maslow. It has to be self-rewarding to you to do it.
Right.
And of service to others.
Yeah.
So like take yourself, how much you're being paid to do this show?
Oh.
So why are you doing it?
It is definitely self-motivating for me.
There you
for
are.
Sure. Yes.
One of your new species right there.
Yeah.
You're not doing it because of pay. And most people I know are paying to do their work, or they're entrepreneurs to give themselves a chance to do more of their work. So the whole word work changes. So something you have to do to support yourself to do something else to what you do to express your most great creativity that's of service.
Isn't that the truth? It's so true. I think for myself, and maybe for most people, when I'm being creative, that's certainly when I'm absolutely the happiest and feel in the flow of
Yes.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's the great privilege. And we are changing the word work to really the word being creative, being expressing uniqueness,
Mm-hmm.
giving your gift, serving. And there's the joy. Actually, that's where the joy is. The joy is not in vacations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the joy is not in buying expensive clothes.
Mm-hmm.
The joy, it can be for a few minutes you love it. I mean, I love to have a beautiful dress. It's not that.
Yeah.
If you say in your life, what has given you joy? It's love, but then there's kinds of love. There's just personal love.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. But I would like to propose the kind of love that's much more exciting is actually co-creative love, joining genius, where you are excited by somebody's creativity who is excited by your creativity.
Oh, that is exciting. That's for sure. When you can just grow it and make it bigger and better and more wonderful, for
And
sure.
so the new human is always seeking or in vocational arousal
Mm-hmm.
with joining genius with others.
Mm-hmm.
And you have vocational love affairs.
Ah, yeah, yeah. It's so fun too when somebody gives you a new idea or shares a new idea that was not on your radar and you get it. I mean, I don't think there's anything more exciting than that.
That's it. That's it. And you could talk
Yeah.
about evolutionary romance.
Mm-hmm.
See, that I believe that the world is going to be evolved through co-creative love
Ah, okay.
and passion to join genius and excitement to give your gift and to fulfill your potential. I think that is a much greater power in the new species than power over somebody else or winning while somebody else losing. You see, there's a different motivation in the new species.
Mm-hmm. What if somebody wants to be in the new species, but they're not? I want to, but they're not. They don't feel like they're quite there. Can they? Can they join? Can they get themselves there?
Well, that's why we do the year-long program. They
Ah,
contact me, BMH, you know, they contact the Foundation for Conscious Evolution and my
mm-hmm.
website. And then I'm going to be inviting thousands of people. That's what my current intention, to have a very big uh, evolutionary mentoring for the new species.
Wonderful.
And so people who are already the new species
Mm-hmm.
will be helping.
Mm-hmm.
The people who want to be new species will come on.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are giving us new powers will be expressing those new powers. And I will use my 52 codes, which, you know, every day, a week, there'll be one. Okay, so here's a good one. Be ready to repattern at the next stage when the larger pattern is ready for you.
Oh.
The larger pattern of evolution is repositioning you. Due to the planetary shift, your new position is being ready. You must be ready for it. Everything that is dysfunctional in your life gets more dysfunctional, while new functionalities start emerging. Your new identity as a young universal human takes hold. Your creativity unfolds toward new purpose. See, that's the experience of the new species.
That's exciting. Yeah.
And
So it's for everybody, even if they're not there yet. They need to get ready so they can get ready because here I come.
well,
I love that. Yeah. How would they sign up for this or learn more about it? Did you say they'd go to your website?
My website, because I'm going to be putting it up very shortly.
Mm-hmm.
So barbaramarxhubbard.com.
Okay.
That's my website. So I think that the new species is arising everywhere, in every culture, in every age, in every religion. Most of us are very spiritual, but not in one specific religion.
Mhm.
Most of us are very motivated by our own creativity and the desire to express it.
Mhm.
Most of us find our greatest joy in co-creating
Mhm.
rather than in winning. Most of us do not want to have huge numbers of children, but to only have chosen children or no children.
Mhm.
You know, when I got married in 1951, we were told go out and have as many babies as possible. And we're not told that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I had 5 children. I don't know anybody with 5 children. Now, I know there are people with 5 children, but in our culture, most people, how about you? How many children do you have?
I've got 3 of my own and a stepdaughter.
Well, that's perfect, you see, but you don't have 5 or 10 or
No.
no. So, and the younger ones that I know are really deciding whether they have children.
Well, and the youngsters, I'm calling them youngsters, they're really
Yeah.
beautiful, young, advanced adults. But I've noticed a lot of them haven't decided. They're doing other things, whether they're going to have children or not at this
That's
point.
it. See, when I was married at 21, there was no choice that I thought I had, should I or should I not have children.
Right.
I mean, and now we have choice to have the child through
Mhm.
contraception. We have a choice to have for abortion.
Mhm.
We have a choice to live together without being married. We have a choice to get married or not. We
Mhm.
have a choice to have sex whether we want to be married.
Mhm.
I mean, really. So
Yeah.
what then gives meaning and direction if those older structures are not holding you? I think it's life purpose, meaning, creativity, co-creative love, sense of direction, desire to fulfill your potential. These are all a whole hierarchy of need, of desires. And then if you're in basic need level, Maslow's 1 level, then you have to do everything in your power to get your basic needs met. But that even for the people who have to struggle with that, that's not the be all and end all of life.
Mhm.
And here's another very interesting thing. Many women do not want to get married and have children. They want to realize their potential.
Mhm.
So the relationship between man and woman is changing. Man as the breadwinner, and woman as the wife and homekeeper, because more women are graduating from law school than men. I mean, the whole thing is topsy-turvy here.
Yeah.
I think it's harder to be a man than a woman because a woman has much more freedom and a man is still more in a success-oriented part of life.
Yeah, you might be right there. Well, I like so much too that if somebody knows they're not a homo universalis yet, that there's still hope for them. If they're depressed or they're just working for their basic needs, that they can still learn how to have a happy, joyful life with a higher purpose. So,
I think the key for everybody is inner purpose.
yeah.
Now, everybody, here's another statement I like to make, the next level of Thomas Jefferson. Here it is. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All people are born creative.
Yes. And it's so
Endowed
interesting. So many people think they're not creative, and I
They are.
totally agree. Everybody's creative, different ways.
All people are born creative, endowed by our Creator with
Right.
the inalienable right and responsibility
Mhm.
to activate your creativity for
Right.
the good of the self and the whole human family, or
Mhm.
whole, really, nature
Yeah.
and world family. So the people who are left out have to activate a deeper motivation.
Yeah.
And as Maslow was pointing out during the whole Haight-Ashbury drug culture time, that some people didn't want to live. And he said, as a doctor, he thought, you know what? What if they don't want to live? That's okay too.
Mhm.
It's not, but if you have a passion to express yourself and to evolve, in most cultures, certainly in our world, there's some way for you to get a step forward.
To get there. And boy, yeah, Barbara, you just crush any type of ageism, because I think that's what drags so many people down too as they get older. Oh, it's too late for me. You know, if only I'd done it when I was younger. But really, it's never too late, is it?
I mean, the number of things I'm starting up at 87.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. So if you can do it, maybe we can do it. Not like you, but we can do something.
No. The fact is, everybody can do it.
Mm-hmm.
We hold these truths to be self-evident.
Right.
All people are born created. Now, is that true?
It's so true. And I think that's what people see in you. And I remember when I saw you speak at La Casa de Maria, I just saw that sparkle in you. And I think it ignites from inside because of this inner passion that you're talking about.
It does. And then it keeps you, I wouldn't say so much young, but it keeps you getting newer.
Right. That's a beautiful phrase.
I'm not younger or older, but the newness is evolutionary creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Like the project of bringing together members of the new species. Now that's exciting to me.
That's pretty darn exciting. Yes. And when you talk about a new species, I'm wondering even probably your genetics change as we become these different species of people.
It was funny that they say that one way you can tell a new species is they can't mate with the other species. Oh, I said, no, I don't think I could mate with Dick Cheney.
I was going to say, or Donald Trump, probably.
Oh,
either
I
I'm sorry I said that.
No, that's all right. The new species is attracted to each other.
Yes.
They're really not attracted to another type.
Sure, because you feel that energy. You gravitate toward it.
You're attracted more to that which illuminates you. So I think you'll find the species is evolving by attraction.
Yes.
To each other. That's where my vocational arousal comes in.
Yes, very exciting.
Joining genius and wanting to give your gift with others. It's really more joyful. It's where pleasure is.
Absolutely. Gosh, and go ahead about pleasure. I just want to say.
You know, sometimes people will have pleasure in a way that's destructive to them.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, either they will have, maybe they will take substances that aren't good for them, or they will drink too much, or they will have relationships that they don't really care about, and they'll find themselves lost in not loving. So there are lots of things you can do to wound yourself.
Sure.
There are lots of very difficult situations that people are born in. You don't want to underestimate.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still true that everybody's motivation is their greatest gift. Mm-hmm. And in the most dire circumstances, people have been great. So we have to say that for ourselves, so we don't kind of limp along with I'm too old, or people will say, well, Barbara, I'm a housewife. I cannot do this. I said, oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly how I did it.
That's exactly.
I got depressed being a housewife.
Yes, I understand.
And what did I do about that depression?
Oh. Well, speaking of pleasure, it has been an absolute pleasure for me to get so inspired by speaking to you. And one of the great pleasures of my year, for sure, maybe my life. I really appreciate it. And I thank you so very much.
And please send us a